We need more dramas like this. Hi everyone, 안녕하세요 여러분. My name is Android. Welcome to Cinemarea. This channel is all about South Korean movies and TV shows, and in my last video I reviewed a movie called The Chaser, and it was starring Kim Yun-Seok. I think that Kim Yun-Seok is a fantastic actor, so naturally I was very excited when I heard that he actually directed a movie in 2019 called Another Child, or Mi Sung-young. I had no idea what to expect when I started watching this movie, but this is actually a pretty tragic yet very intriguing, painful, emotional drama. So the movie stars Kim Yun-seok as the head of a family. He has a wife played by Yum Jung-ah, and he also has a daughter played by Kim Hye-jun. Unfortunately, the husband has a mistress played by Kim So-jin, and the mistress also has a daughter played by Park Se-jin. This is actually a really human story, and it's also a pretty tragic story. In the movie, it's actually the two daughters who find out about the adultery first, and they naturally hate each other because of that. Things get even worse when it turns out that the mistress has actually gotten pregnant by the husband. And for some weird reason, it's actually the two daughters who are the most mature in this situation. I gotta say, I absolutely loved this movie. This is not a large-scale movie by any means. I don't think the budget of the movie was very high. There's lots of interior shots in small apartments, and even the exterior shot compositions feel sort of claustrophobic. But we as audience members never actually feel claustrophobic because the movie compensates its smaller scale with brilliant writing, meaning there's always something interesting or important happening. So even though this is just a simple, tragic human story with simple, tragic, flawed and broken characters, you're never actually bored while watching this film. The pacing is fantastic. This movie is only 96 minutes long, it's short, condensed, cohesive, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And although the adults are playing an important role here, this is very much the two daughters movie. And they do an excellent job, both Park Se-jin and Kim Hye-jun. It is actually their relationship that is the most interesting part of this film, because in the beginning they hate each other's guts, and for good reason. I think that in their minds both of them are blaming the other's family because of what happened, but then that another child is born prematurely, and that's where their relationship is starting to change. For better or worse, you have to see for yourself. So as I've mentioned before, this movie was directed by Kim Yun-seok and he also stars in the film. But he very wisely chose a character to play who is not that important in the story. I mean, he is important, but he probably has the least amount of screen time out of the main cast. And it's so interesting to see him playing such a fragile and, dare I say, weak character. In all of the movies I've seen him in, he's always playing some kind of a badass. So it's very refreshing to see him play such a different character. Even his body posture is sort of bent over. It also indicates weakness. He's basically a pathetic, spineless man in this film. But it's so interesting because, and I don't know if this is the writing aspect of the movie or it's just Kim Yun-seok's performance, you don't actually hate him. In fact, it's pretty hard to hate anyone in this film because they all feel like humans. They feel like real people. And people make mistakes. Sometimes we make small mistakes and sometimes we make mistakes that are breaking up families. In fact, in short, this movie is about two families that are falling apart. And it's done so well that even though it is painful to watch, it's also very engaging. Yum Jung-ah's performance as the wife I thought was magnificent. I think that probably she was the one who was handling the situation in the most mature way. But that doesn't mean that you cannot feel her frustration. There's a great scene in the movie where the wife and the mistress are talking, and the wife actually brings food to the mistress because the mistress is in the hospital, and they have a very interesting conversation where the wife actually says that I'm feeding you because I can feel better about myself. So interesting and intriguing. Kim So-jin was also great as the mistress. Her character was probably the most immature out of all the adults. As the movie goes along, we get to know that she actually gave birth to her daughter when she was just 17. So even though you don't agree with her committing adultery, you can definitely see where she is coming from. And that doesn't mean that her character isn't annoying at times, but at other times she's showing enough maturity for us to be able to care for her. Incredible writing in this movie. The characterization is just flawless. I also love the fact that, as I mentioned before, the movie is only 96 minutes long and the pacing is great. The movie doesn't waste any time. For example, in the beginning of the movie, there are two scenes with these two families. Both of them are probably 2 or 3 minutes long, and you can get a really clear picture of how those families are functioning. And both of those families are pretty dysfunctional. I also love the fact that the story is basically told from the perspective of the two daughters. Because let's face it, when families break up, it's always the children who suffer the most, and this movie knows this very, very well. So this film is telling the story from a perspective where it is the most painful and the most emotional. In fact, Another Child is a pretty realistic reflection on real life. Because let's be honest, nowadays marriages don't mean a thing anymore. Marriages don't last anymore. Relationships don't last anymore. Families don't last anymore. Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with us people? And this movie made me ask the same question. What the fuck is wrong with us? So the movie actually made me think, and I like movies that make me think. And I also love that there's character development here, especially from the two daughters' side, and it was so much fun to watch how their relationship is growing and evolving, and the music was so great. It was only acoustic guitar, but it was so fitting to the story. So if you're into human dramas, if you're into real human characters, if you like watching something on film that could easily happen in real life, if you like it when your emotions are tickled a little bit, then this movie is for you. And I'm going to give this one 85%. And I really hope that Kim Yun-Seok is going to direct another movie sometimes, because apparently he's a great director. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Before I say goodbye, I would just like to say that apparently my videos would need Korean subtitles. So if you're a guy or a girl who understands Korean, who can read and write Korean, and if you feel like creating subtitles for my videos, please contact me, link is in the description. Other than that, thank you guys very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and to subscribe, and please leave a comment on which movie or TV show should I review next. See you guys next time. 다음 시간에 만나요. Bye!